Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BiS Indy Grand Prix of Alabama, brought to you by Rogue Energy. We're here at the beautiful Barber Motorsports Park down in Alabama, ready for an exhilarating night of high-speed action and nail-biting competition. As the engines roar and the excitement builds, the best drivers in the BiS Indycar Series are prepared to battle it out on this challenging and picturesque circuit. Buckle up and get ready for a thrilling ride as we bring you all the drama and excitement of the BiS IndyCar Series. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon. I'm one of the commentators here, and joining me in the booth today is going to be Reese Gardner as well, Southpaw Racer as he is affectionately known, and Christian Hill. He's operating the behind the scenes actions there. The sponsors today are we're going to have obviously Rogue Energy. You saw a little bit of a clip from them as we came in, and obviously Pit Road Productions as well. But Reese, why don't you take us over the schedule there, sir?
Yeah, indeed. We are rapidly approaching the end of the season here. We've only got one round to go, and it's at Michigan, an oval for the next round on the 14th of August in 2 weeks' time. But today, we, of course, go to Barber. We've absolutely run the gamut of iconic circuits in the United States. We've gone to the likes of Homestead, Long Beach, Indianapolis, Road America, Road Atlanta, Laguna Seca, Mid-Ohio, pretty much any circuit you can think of that is on the real-life IndyCar schedule and is well within the hearts of racing fans. You have seen on this schedule, but Barber, I think one of my favorites. It's a very new circuit compared to most of the others. It was only built in 2003, but it certainly has the character of an old-school racetrack.
We're going to take a quick look at the points as well, and that's an interesting fun fact as well. I never actually knew that this was that this track was made in 2003. I completely hear what you're saying, and you know, to get that into context, like my local racetrack, they're about to celebrate their 50th anniversary in September. So you know, it just goes to show that some places are building new racetracks. Actually, it makes me think of Willow Springs. Actually, is up for sale. Hopefully, what's her name? Not Amelia Earnhardt. The lady with the Corvette who started Gran Turismo, I don't know, it's Amelia something, but anyway, she's trying to buy the track, which would be pretty cool. I get sidetracked. Well, actually, Reese, you're really handy with these things. You want to take a look at the points there, sir?
Yeah, Evolve Sim Sports is on top in the team standings by quite some margin over Britannia iSports, and I think that championship gap is not going to be closed by the end of the season. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, it's a bit more up for grabs. Zach Buchanan currently on top at the moment. Andrew Hardman in second place. A really good run from Andrew Hardman this season. Joey Haynes, meanwhile, he's had potential for some fantastic results, but hasn't quite gotten the consistency that he's wanted with the first part of the season not being taken part in, I believe, for him. Zach Buchanan is certainly the form driver in this series. Jonathan Wager in the number 47, well, he joined late on in the season, but he's got some fantastic results on board as well. He's definitely going to be jumping up the order in the last couple of rounds.
Definitely somebody who is worth watching for sure. But it was Amelia Hartford was the one I was thinking of, quite new, quite upcoming. But let's actually have a quick look at the track. We'll give you a little bit more information about that. So yeah, we're at Barber Motorsports Park today, and this 2.38 mile track features 17 challenging turns, each designed to test the skill and precision of our drivers. It's like they knew that we were doing this event and they built it just for us. Actually, in 2003, as Reese was saying, but known for its rolling hills and beautifully manicured landscapes, Barber offers not only a technical challenge but also a stunning backdrop for today's race. The combination of elevation changes and fast sweepers makes for thrilling overtakes and intense battles for position. It's a track that demands respect and rewards bravery, and it's sure to provide us with some unforgettable moments in today's BiS Indy Grand Prix of Alabama.
It packs a lot of racetrack into a very tight space. Starting on the main straight, we cross the start-finish line and approach turn 1, the fast left-hander. Precision braking there is crucial as we quickly transition into turn 2, then 3, a long, patient right bend down the hill, over the crest and the apex at turn 4. We then face turn 5, a tight left-hand hairpin, prime spot for overtaking in today's race. Accelerating out of turn 5, we flow through the left kink of turn 6 and then into the iconic Charlotte's Web chicane, a complex left-right combination that demands quick reflexes. Exiting Charlotte's Web through turn 8, we speed down the back straight into the fast sweeping turns 9 and 10, maintaining momentum through these flowing sections. The tricky turns 11 and 12 bring elevation changes, with the cars getting light over the crest on the exit between turns 12 and 13, then into 13 and the decreasing radius into 14, holding tight to line up the turn 15, sending us back onto the main straight to complete a quick lap at this fantastic venue. I really love this circuit, Daniel. It produces fantastic racing no matter what category races here, but with Indy cars, it's a bit more of a bull ring than anything else.
It's definitely the IndyCar. I find obviously having all of that aerodynamics, it is quite a demanding car, and you do have to be brave with it. I know when we cover the radicals as well, the aero is something that I've not fully got the grasp of it. You know, it takes a lot of bravery, a lot of commitment. But let's take a quick look at the format for tonight's racing. So we're going to be doing a 20-minute qualifying followed by 2 30-minute races. So our usual road format there. But race 2, the reversed top 10. That is one of my favorite things about the things we do here at BiS, and that really does add a complete mix into the grid. But there is also a mandatory pit stop as well. A couple of race details for you. We do cap the I rating at 5,000. Certainly not a problem I'm going to have anytime within the next decade. It's fixed setups as well, rolling starts. For the road courses, we are doing local yellows only, so you will not get a full course yellow here this evening. And if you do, something has gone horribly wrong. So for race control to throw that off. But one fast repair as well. I've got a feeling we'll be getting a couple of them being used up. 20 incidents will get you a penalty, and 30 will get you disqualified. So quite generous, in my opinion, on the incident points. One of the things as well that you will see us talking about throughout the race, drivers must use both compounds in each race. And then not only that, one of my favorite things, and anybody who watches Formula One, this is a button that you'll be familiar with. Push to pass is available. So they got 10 pushes and it's 20 seconds per push.
Yeah, not going to have much time to really to exploit that extra power, with the straights being as short as they are. So yeah, basically push to pass lasts until you get off the throttle, unless you manage to get a 20-second long straight. So it's a bit difficult to exploit it here at Barber, but if you can rely on mistakes from the drivers in front of him, then you'll be able to take advantage for sure.
Oh, it definitely is going to be a very, very fun race. And the more I see this track, the more it's one of those where you just look at it and think, you know what, I need to visit this place. It looks like a beautiful venue. And it does remind me a little bit of Virginia International Raceway in terms of like the elevation changes and the beautiful scenery. I feel that there's a little bit of Road Atlanta in there as well with the chicanes. It's kind of made me think of that a little bit, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the action here. It looks like it was a full out venue as well. Obviously being made in 2003, they put a lot of effort into how this track's going to function, and it's made for a beautiful venue.
Yeah, it has, and you're not going to see much in the way of tarmac runoffs here. At Charlotte's Web is one of the few tarmac runoffs on this track, and the exit of Turn 1 as well is where you're going to be seeing a little bit more room for the drivers to get it done. We should go through the strategy information as well before we get things going here. Of course, with IndyCar, it's two tire compounds. The primary is the hard compound, the alternate is the soft compound. You can tell by the red side walls. It's generally the best race tire, but I think there's going to be a few drivers who will bank on using the hard compound for a bit longer. Being able to push and take advantage of those faster soft tires is a huge option for the drivers here. And with the turns coming thick and fast at Barber, the soft tire is going to run out of grip very quickly if you push too hard.
I could definitely see that for sure, and it begs the question as well. It all comes down to your driving style. Are you one of these guys that wants to have every piece of grip available to you at the race start and go into position, or are you somebody who prefers the harder, just work your way into it? Now, myself, I think I would probably start on the softs today. I would want to try and use that grid position and try and get that bump, especially with the race 2 being the top 10 grid invert. I'd be determined to get myself into that top 10. But then on the flip side, you go, okay, you know what? I've got 14 cars I'm racing today. Well, I guess 13 including yourself. Maybe I just go the hard and just try and get myself, because 10th place, while not scoring the best points, does open me up to start on pole for race 2.
It does indeed. That's something else the drivers will have to keep in mind, is that top 10 grid invert for race 2. Yeah, it's always a bit of a head spin for me when thinking about what tire you should start on, because pretty much every road course round where we've had these two tires up for grabs, we haven't really been able to predict which has been the best tire to go on for the start of the race. It's just difficult to dissect, really. Do you go on the hards, and if you're up the front, and try and extend the grid, try and extend the stint for as long as you can? Or do you start on the soft and try to get a gap at the start that you'll inevitably lose in the pit cycle? Anything can happen, really.
Definitely, like as you were saying, like it could go either way. Now, obviously, we got some very quick drivers in here today, and as I'm looking at, the qualifying standings, you guys haven't seen them yet. That's okay. We're going to get them to you in just a moment. But as I'm taking a quick peek, obviously we've got some of the usual names up front, but you know what? I'm thinking, like, who's going to be my people to watch? Now, Assad Nakadenbev, despite qualifying 10th, he will be starting from the pits. That is a coaching opportunity from BiS, just to try and reel him in a little bit. We want to try and see his racecraft improve, perhaps get a little bit cleaner. So that is why you'll see him starting from the pits. But I'm looking through, and actually Mark McDonald, he's starting back in 12th. I think he's going to be like my driver to keep an eye on in terms of like a hard charger today.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be interesting to see where the drivers end up at the end of the race. It's certainly a big race that's up for grabs here at Barber Motorsport Park, and the grid will be as follows. Jonathan Wager is qualified on pole position, with Andrew Hartman joining him on the front row. In third place, we have Aussie Mill Wayne and Michael Broomhead. Joey Haynes is going to start in fifth place alongside the 382 of Nick Horvath for Lead Paw Racing. Starting behind them, we have Tyler Scarali setting a 109.009 with Cedric O'Hyan starting alongside him. John Benwalid is going to start in 9th place, rounding out the top 10 with Assad Nikadenbev. But of course, Assad's going to be starting from the pits as we discussed. Takeshi Kita qualified in 11th spot. with Mark McDonald in 12th, and our final two cars on the grid will be Marlon Jones and Tory Pushman. So a bit of a small field for tonight's race, but it should be full of action to be sure. Just rolling away behind the pace car now for our formation lap, and the race is going to last for 30 minutes or 26 laps, whichever comes first.
Well, while we got this brief opportunity while these guys go on the grid, we're just going to give a little shout out as well to Richard Swindles, who he's not here tonight. He woke up, he wasn't feeling too hot, having a little bit of pain in his shoulder. Obviously, I made all the dirty jokes possible, just to try and give him a little bit of a ribbon. But Richard, I'm sure you're watching. I hope you feel better very soon, sir. And he also joins me in the booth some evenings as well on Pit Road Productions. So it's a name that you guys may be familiar with, if not a face. Certainly as a driver as well, he does hang around Pit Road Productions quite a lot. So Richard, feel better there soon.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully see you back for the last round in Michigan. The track temperature is very hot, isn't it? 117 Fahrenheit, that's 47 degrees Celsius for those of you in metric land. So the drivers who started on the soft tyre, which you can see there's quite a few of them, are probably going to be feeling the pain in just a couple of laps into the race.
Definitely, but the old saying is no pain, no gain, and they've got to use it at some point. So within the course of 30 minutes, while that track temp is incredibly hot, you know, it's going to be almost of, okay, you just got to get it done and over with. But I do wonder how well the hard will survive as well. Maybe we see people having to make a two-stop strategy purely just because of the tire life.
Yeah, it's always a possibility, but I get the feeling with 2 tours through pit lane, it's probably going to cost you more time than if you tried to save your tyres and just make it a one-stopper. The drivers will have to complete one mandatory pit stop in each race. So the soft tyre runners, they'll be pushing hard at the very start. I'm sure that they'll be relishing the opportunity to get onto those grey-walled hard tyres.
Well, it sounds like both you and I have got a little bit of a case of the hiccups this evening, and it's certainly something that can happen. Like, you can go all day, as soon as you start having a little bit of a drink, just trying to stay, you know, keep the mouth nice and, I guess, lubricated, for lack of better words. You know, you just get a little bit of hiccups. But again, ladies and gentlemen, you know, we are only human, but it looks like they're getting ready to go. The pace car has gone in. Reese, do the honor, sir. Lead us off on the start.
Yep, no start-finish line painted on the ground here at Barber, but we wait for the call of the green flag, and we are away. Nice even start between Jonathan Wager and Andrew Hardman. Wager, of course, down in the championship, but he's got a lot of pace here. But Hardman is going to go for the lead in turns 2 and 3. The soft tyre runners are starting to come back now. Aussie Milwayne and Joey Haynes, the Evolve cars, in 3rd and 4th, trying already to get up into the top 2. There's the move for second place by Aussie Milwayne, and we have a car off. Unfortunately, Cedric O'Hyan has come a cropper somewhere around the turn 1 and 2 area. So a bit of a difficult start there for Cedric, but they're through Charlotte's Web and rapidly getting to complete the first lap.
Definitely not the race start that Cedric was looking for. A start in the car, and able to capitalize on that position, try again, and he's about 2.8, 2.9 seconds back from the pack. But as we look through the field, it looks like Nick Horvath and Mike Broomhead are some of the closest guys on the track right now, 0.2 of a second in it. I say that, Aussie Wilmain, Andrew Hardman, Jonathan Wager, these guys are all fighting for that top podium spot, and that's who we've got on screen right now, ladies and gentlemen. You see Andrew Hardman at the front, Aussie Milwayne in the middle. Evolve Sim Sports having great representation here at the BiS Indycar Championship, and I thought Milwayne was going to go for it then. Not yet, but another cool thing that you will see here tonight in the Pit Road Productions broadcast, you're going to see these guys. We'll have this graphic up before you at some point where they use the push to pass. Like, there just like that. You see several of the drivers, Hardman, Milwayne, Haynes, and Horvath, all smashing that button, trying to make a move through the field.
And you just see the move there by Aussie Milwayne to take the lead of the race there. He outbraked at turn 5 versus Andrew Hardman, so Evolve Sim Sports is now in the lead, and Jonathan Wager trying his best to defend 3rd from Joey Haynes, but you can see that the soft tyre has definitely been the best tyre to start the race on. But remember, we'll be waiting to see Andrew and Jonathan come back as the soft tyre runners run out of grip.
Oh, definitely. It's one of those things where people will try different techniques, different tactics, but so far, as I look through the field, no major hard charges. The highest position gained is currently 2 positions, and that's pretty universal through the field. Andrew Hardman, he stayed where he's put, and Nick Horvath as well. Jonathan Wager, he's dropped 2 spots so far. Cedric O'Hyan, obviously, he's down the furthest at the minute, having that early incident. Actually, we might try and see if we can get a replay for you of that in just a little short while. But as it stands right now, Ozzy Milwain is in the lead. Hardman, he's dropped back to about 1.2 seconds and is now under pressure from Jonathan Wager.
Yeah, let's see if Jonathan can grab second place and then take advantage once those hard tyres are up to temperature. Almost a bit of side-by-side there between Horvath and Broomhead for 5th place, but they will fall back into line by the time they get to Charlotte's Web. It's a single-line corner, that. I've seen passes being made there before, but they don't come easy.
Oh, definitely not. But saying that, any pass here in the BiS IndyCar Series, unless the guy goes and makes a mistake, these guys will fight. Very rarely do they basically wave and give you an easy point through. But Ozzy Milwain, I understand, did do the fastest lap. But here we go. Let's see what happened to Cedric O'Hyan as the beautiful shrubbery there getting a little bit in the way.
Oh, he did it by himself.
That's an interesting spot to go.
Well, I think it's a bit obvious as well, because you're on cold tyres, no tyre warmers in IndyCar, and you go over the crest, the car goes light, the rear goes light, and the tyres spin up and away you go. So Cedric just destroyed his front left there and completely lost the front end of his car.
Yeah, definitely the elevation change being in effect there. And actually, that's something we'll get into it a little bit later. I certainly want to see a lap or two from the cockpit of some of these cars, and we'll save that for later, I think. But certainly, the elevation change, one of the things that is often underappreciated here in the sim, and generally one of my favorite features of most racetracks. I'm thinking Brands Hatch is a really good example. As you head down turn 1, all the way down and head towards Druids, that drop, having been there in real life, it's a good couple of stories. You wouldn't be like, throwing eggs off the top. They would smash.
Yeah, definitely. I think about the run up from turn 3 to 4 as pretty similar in terms of that change, to say nothing of the run through turn 13 up to 14. Well, we have a couple of laps on the board now. In fact, we are on the 5th lap of the race, and things have settled down a little bit. I think the drivers are just trying to get their tyres sorted after the chaos of the first couple of laps. But, Jonathan Wager had to go defensive versus Joey Haynes, but he's going to go around the outside with a big slide coming out of turn 5. That was spectacular.
Well, Joey Haynes is one of the BiS regulars here, and certainly he's always nice to talk to as well. But Wager definitely not having the form that we're used to seeing here today at Barber Motorsports Park. Currently dropped through the field, down 3 places. But to be fair to the guy, Barber is a very demanding track, and you know what? Even if he finishes in that top 10, he's going to end up starting on pole if he secures that 10th position.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be learned from this first race as well. You got to obviously run it all the way through to see what the tyres will do over the course of the race. But for the time being, it looks like if you started the race on the hard compound, you're at a massive disadvantage. The pace of the drivers running the softs is looking a bit insurmountable at the moment, and Wager is continuing to lose time. Nick Horvath is now closing in on him for 4th.
Well, you say that Hardman is on the same set of tyres as Wager, so actually both these guys in the BiS Britannia iSports team as well. So definitely, actually, that's something we've not really talked about too much yet today, is the team aspect of it. So right now, Ozzy Milwain, you got him for Evolve. Well, basically, you got Evolve Britannia. Then you got Nick Horvath for Leadport Racing, and then you got another Britannia car in there as well. So very much the team's having a crucial role. So it's going to be interesting to see how them points stack up. Obviously, Evolve Simsport's doing very well right now, as that was the back end of Nick Horvath's car, the Leadport Racing car, and he currently is he's up 1 position into 5th from 6th.
Indeed, most positions gained in the field. It's looking like Mark McDonald is probably the contender for that. He went up from 12th to 9th. Of course, one of those positions was thanks to Asad Nikadambev starting from the pits, but still some good progress for Mark McDonald into the top 10, and at the moment occupying second place on the grid for race 2. Takeshi Kita is currently sitting in 10th spot, and he's not too far back, only a couple of tenths, but we'll keep our eyes on the battle in the top 5 as Jonathan Wager is continuing to struggle to get some pace on board that car. He's absolutely losing out to Joey Haynes, who's made some great progress over the last couple of laps, and Andrew Hardman will have to start looking in his mirrors shortly.
Well, definitely Joey Haynes is currently having a good roll through the field, but another thing to think about as well is these cars do allow for adjustments inside the vehicle. I remember certainly for the oval, it allows you to adjust the weight jacker, which I know that you can explain a lot better than me, but stuff like the anti-roll bars as well can be adjusted on the fly. You know, the weight jacker, is that something that we tend to see here in the roadside there, Reese?
No, it only really works on the oval side. There's no need for it on the road because basically you tell Eliza, B, I can't explain it better than you. But basically it just shifts the weight at the rear of the car in some way, and the effect of it, which is the important part, is it changes whether or not you get oversteer on entry or exit in the left-hand corners, and it only really works on the left-handers. It also results in maybe a bit more understeer when turning right, which will definitely help you recover a slide if that happens. But yeah, there's no need for it on the road course side.
Well, definitely some interesting technology in these cars, and the aerodynamics as well. I mean, it's one thing, you know, being from England, you know, IndyCar isn't as widely followed. We have Formula One. Well, I'll say that the world at this point has Formula One, but it's interesting to see as well. Like, that's something I do wish that we did have in the UK with something like NASCAR, because I could just, don't get me wrong, the crowd would be a different variety, don't get me wrong, but it would be hilarious in its own right. But you know, in the UK, if you want to watch racing, obviously you've got like the world-renowned circuits like Silverstone, Brands Hatch, Donington Park, that's definitely a good one, Snetterton, stuff like that. There is actually quite, if you think actually for a geographical like location for racetrack circuits, damn, we're looking pretty good. But you know, generally, if you wanted to see, I never actually realized that. I'm from the UK, and I never felt like, you know what, we maybe have like the best amount of racetracks per square mile. We got to figure that out later now. I'm fixated on such a thing, but you know, we'd often, as a kid, I'd go and watch banger racing, which basically is old junky cars that they basically slapped a cage in it, and that was your entertainment. So you know, IndyCar is not something that we really had, but it's amazing to see the technology as well, and it's a lot more thought out. But then also as well, that all the cars are the same, you know, it's a spec series, and I actually really like that because it doesn't become like a race to arms, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the big reasons why IndyCar is so highly regarded is the fact that, you know, you do have different engine manufacturers, Chevrolet and Honda, and in the real world there are some differences between the powertrains, but in iRacing the cars are pretty much equal. Every driver is driving the exact same set of physics, so you know, it's a great equalizer, and it really comes down to the driver and the engineering side of it as well. How well you can set up the car, especially for a circuit like this, which has so many bumps and so many turns where you need high downforce. Asad Nikadambev is certainly trying to make some progress forward here, and you can tell from his onboard that he's definitely got the grip in hand, but maybe struggling a little bit to find the turn-in point for turn 5. Marlon Jones running a little bit wide there on the exit.
But Nikadambev is on the harder tyres, so he is not going to have an easy time getting past Marlon Jones. But if I look at the last lap, these guys very comparable, 112.284, 112.293. If you look at the best lap, again, very comparable, 110.792, 110.665. Really is very little in it, as Nikadambev is going to send it down. I believe that's on the outside. Yes, it is. Not quite able to get it done. Marlon Jones holds on, absolutely fantastic defensive driving, and Nikadambev definitely making sure that if he's going to get past, he's going to get past clean.
Yeah, very wise decision by Assad to back out of that one. It's difficult to make a pass in that section, which can be frustrating if you're faster in that part of the racetrack. We also saw a change of position just a few moments ago. Michael Broomhead's gotten past Nick Horvath for P5, so Mike is certainly making his way forward, our league administrator here at BiS Sim Leagues. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on this battle to see if Assad is successful in making his way past. The top two, well, they have extended the gap quite a bit. Andrew Hardman having a much better time of making the hard tyre work than most other drivers. So they're all alone up in the top two. Haynes and Wager are battling. Broomhead and Horvath still together. We have a four-way fight between Ben Willis-Scarali, Keita and McDonald, and then there's this battle between Jones and Nakadenbev. Tori Pushman, as you see in the background of frame there for a second, all alone on the racetrack at the moment. She's just hoping that the drivers in front of her will make mistakes.
Well, we're going to take a quick look at Marlon Jones' paint because he was posting up in the livery showcase earlier. It's the livery for Barber, the SCDAA branding with the Birmingham chapter's website to spread sickle cell awareness. Important to him because he has sickle cell. So while I admit I do not fully comprehend and understand that, there's a lot of things I don't understand in this world. That's definitely one of them. You know, I do hope that he's okay and that he feels better, if that's the kind of thing you feel better from. Reese, you get the kind of message I'm trying to say here. I'm not quite nailing it, but the point is I'm trying to say, you know what, let's send this guy some good vibes. Red, white, and houndstooth representative of Alabama itself. I got to admit, I don't fully understand it, but you know what, I appreciate you putting up the livery in the livery showcase, and just want to give you a little bit of a shout out there just to, you know, recognize that.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful livery as well. You know, red and white always works. It's an iconic color combination in racing for good reason, and I think it's been executed beautifully that time around. Big shout out to you, Marlon Jones. Hopefully you'll be able to hold on to this position. Assad is really dialing up the aggression here, and actually Jones making his way into 10th as Mark McDonald slow and going for the pit lane. I don't know if there's been there has been a problem for Mark McDonald. A big one. He's missing his front nose cone. So, you never know. We might see that sickle cell liveried car making its way from pole position in race 2 if he can hold on to it.
That'd definitely be a scary position to be in, but let's have a look to see what happened to Mark McDonald, the traffic cone car itself. It looked like he dipped the grass just very slightly there, but it seems clean so far. And okay,
here's where it happens.
Run a little bit too wide, caught the grass. Got a bit of a tank slapper going, unable to catch it, and damn it, if he'd been another 6 feet to the right, you would have missed that fence.
Yeah.
But, bad day for the Rust racing car.
Yeah, I've seen that happen so many times. You know, a driver loses it over the grass, snaps, goes for a spin, and they end up hitting the end of the barrier. You know, probably would have gotten the same damage regardless of where he hit the wall, but a little bit of extra space to slow down might have helped him a little bit. But yeah, McDonald is in the pits right now getting that car repaired, and I don't think he's going to be contending for positions anytime soon. But there's a lot of contention here between Wager and Haynes. Now we're starting to see the hard tyre come into its own.
Yeah, it looks like Jonathan Wager has been able to catch up to Joey Haynes. There's actually a couple of battles going on. There's that, and also Tyler Scarelli and John Bemberlet as well. We're going to focus on this one for the minute. Joey Haynes was able to get by earlier and claim that third podium spot, but Wager is now coming back into form, and the softs on Joey Haynes and the hards and Jonathan Wagers, as Reese was saying, definitely having an effect. If I have a look at the last lap time, though, very close. Again, just 0.2 of a second. Nope, try again. I'm reading the wrong one. Less than that, it was 0.003 of a second between the last laps of Joey Haynes and Jonathan Wager. In terms of best lap, again, not a lot in it. As I say that, it looks like Ozzy Milwain has gone in the pits.
Yep, and that will be for his scheduled pit stop. He'll be changing to the hard tyres and topping up the fuel tank from there. Milwain managed to extend his lead out to a couple of seconds, so he'll be hoping that he can hold on to that as he moves on to the hard tyres and gets things going again out of pit lane. Meanwhile, Wager and Haynes continue to battle here. Hearing news also that Marlon Jones has had an incident out there, unfortunately. We'll see what happened to him here, and it looks like it was down at turn 5. He's been taking a wide line out of there for a while, and I think the rear tyres just said no thank you.
Able to keep it off the wall though, so fantastic save there from the number 25 car. And actually, looking at Mark McDonald's incident as well, I think that was the same spot that caught Cedric O'Hyan as well. So Mark McDonald was on the hard tyres. They would have probably been getting into their prime at that point, so maybe just pushed a little bit too hard. Cedric, his would have been on the cold tyre, albeit the soft. So definitely not what he had in mind. But it looks like Mike Broomhead has just passed Joey Haynes because Joey Haynes has gone in the pits. Oh, yeah. I was getting all excited then.
Yeah, joined by Nick Horvath as well. So this will be yet another case of soft tyre starters going for the hards.
Well, I do see as well, it looks like there may be an issue with fast repairs.
Really?
Yeah, I was just reading Mark McDonald had put in the chat. Did I miss where we mixed fast repairs?
Okay.
I'm not seeing a fast repair thing on my timing screen, so I'm starting to wonder if it's not been made available to him today.
Yeah,
it's not available.
That's a bit of a mistake from race direction there. Usually a fast repair is allowed in this series, but maybe in setting up the session they forgot to tick the box, so to speak. So the drivers will have to be extra careful out there now. Well, Joey Haynes is back out in the race now, Aussie Milwain as well on the hard tyre. So we'll see what kind of pace they can hold on to as Hardman, Wager and Broomhead, all starting on the hards, will continue their way out here. They've already completed 16 laps on their tyres with 11 minutes to go. Not going to be that much time spent on the hards for the likes of Haynes and Milwain. So can they take advantage? Can they get the tyres heated up in time? With the track being as hot as it is, I don't think they'll have much trouble.
Well, I've just seen Aussie Milwain be able to make a couple of places back, but I do have a notification saying that Nick Horvath may have crashed, so we'll check that out in just a few moments. Takeshi Kita, he's there in the pits. That's Mark McDonald behind, and yeah, it does appear that fast repairs are definitely not enabled right now, so definitely a briefing will occur between the races. Let's see what happened here to Nick Horvath. If I remember rightly, he is a go-karting superstar in terms of what he's done for real-life experience, and it looks like the same corner that caught a couple of the guys, but he chose the opposite wall, rearranging that rear wing very briefly from.
Yeah, well, looks like he might have just escaped damage to the. Oh no! Oh, look at the tire. Look at the right rear. It's got way too much toe out there. So no surprise to see that he'll come into the pit lane thanks to that. So Nick's gonna be in there for quite some time as well. That's a real shame. But now. That makes the third driver that we've lost due to heavy damage in this race, and only 11 remain. Marlon Jones still in 11th place, and he hasn't pitted yet. Thanks to his spin earlier, he's at a bit of a disadvantage here. He'll have to rely on a mistake from Kita or Pushman to be able to get into that top 10. Speaking of Pushman, she's in the pits along with Nikita Bev.
Well, definitely right now, that 11th spot is kind of, the unlucky ticket in the race right now, because you do need to get that 10th position to get a huge catapult up through the order. And definitely as well, so where the fast repairs are not currently functional, all of a sudden it's become BiS Indycar Grand Prix of Alabama. High stakes version, ladies and gentlemen. The stakes just got a little bit higher as Tori Pushman is there heading out of the pit. So, yeah, definitely not what some people had in mind. Actually, who else have we got that hasn't pit yet? It looks like Tyler Scarelli hasn't pit. Neither is Jonathan Wager.
Well, Wager's just come in.
Andrew Hartman. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so it just means it just makes Hardman, Broomhead, and Scarali yet to come into the lane. They're pushing the hard tyres quite a ways here, but Wager has decided, nope, it's time for me to get some extra pace out of this and jump onto the softs. Scarali making his way around the lap at the moment, coming up to turn 5, it looks like. I would expect him to come in at the end of this lap, but I've been wrong before, and I'll certainly be wrong again. Hardman and Broomhead, they've got a lot of experience on the hard tyres, so I think they might try pushing just a little bit longer for a really aggressive run on the softs right at the end.
Well, that becomes the question, like those softs, like how long do they last? I mean, this is the advantage, I guess, of starting on the softs, because you can start to feel when they wear off and then you just go, okay, I'll take the hards, and you'll make them last kind of deal. Whereas now you're kind of playing the opposite end of the table. You're kind of thinking, okay, I can keep pushing these up. How hard do I want to push? And then not only that, going from a harder tire to a softer tire, knowing how far to push can be very challenging, to the point where, are you going to get the most out of that tire? As we see Tyler Scarelli is just coming in to make his scheduled pit stop.
Hardman's come in as well. The pit stop is complete for Hardman. Milwane's going to move back past him now. And interesting to see that Milwane is still one of the fastest cars on track, despite now being on the hard tyres. Really good job from the Evolve guys to get that car sorted, or their driving style sorted on the hard tyres. But Hardman is back out now and stands a chance of finishing on the podium here. Jonathan Wager falling down the order a little bit. He didn't have the best of times through the pits, but he is now trying to get back past Joey Haynes. Now the shoe is on the other foot. Wager on the softs and Haynes on the hards.
Well, definitely Haynes is going to be fighting for everything he's got, and I think it was Haynes and Wager who had that fantastic battle before, where I think Haynes ended up going a little bit too wide near the end. So these guys have definitely fought before, and it's generally good, clean racing. But Haynes is at that disadvantage, as you said. Wager's going to be absolutely all over him. So defensive driving 101, we're going to get a lesson here with the number 52 car.
Yes, indeed. Coming down into the final corner now. See if Wager can push hard here on the push to pass, actually, and off the circuit as well. Maybe he got on the power a little too early, so he can't make use of the push to pass properly there. He'll have to wait again, as Hardman is now on push to pass as well to try and catch up to Aussie Milwane. The gap for the lead currently at about 3.7 seconds and closing just a little bit.
Well, definitely you got to push. It's Scarelli, Bamberlid, you got Haynes and Wager. Milwane's out. He's clear at this point, short of a miracle. Well, saying that, Hardman's on the softs. Has he got enough time to get it done? Did you see Wager absolutely rocking that wheel like a seahorse, trying to get by? As you see a little bit of a lock-up there from Joey Haynes. The 52 definitely under some pressure there from the 47. It is Evolve versus Britannia iSports yet again. And as much as I like Joey Haynes, Jonathan Wager's car's got a Union Jack on the back. I mean, it's hard to contend with that.
Yeah, I suppose there's a little bit of a connection there for me as well. My country's flag has the Union Jack in the corner. So let's see if Wager will be able to get it done here. Oh, getting squeezed a little on the entry into the final turn, and he wasn't able to hook up the exit like he wanted to. This is going to be interesting indeed. New fastest lap, meanwhile, from Andrew Hardman, who's rapidly chasing down Milwane. The gap is now under 3 seconds for the lead of the race, and we still have 4 minutes plus to go.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a race to the finish. You see there, Wager on the outside. Has he been able to get it done? Haynes and Wager almost touching wheels there at that point. What a fantastic pass from Jonathan Wager.
Lovely stuff. That's how you get it done at turn 5. Very aggressive on the brakes, carried the speed through the middle of the turn and got on the power nice and early, got the car straightened up, and move is done. Fantastic stuff.
Well, we're just going to have a very quick chat here with Nick Horvath. This is one of the cars that retired earlier. We just go, well, before we do that, let's just have a replay of this fantastic pass by Jonathan Wager. Absolutely astonishing pass. You can see him. He goes there on the outside, nonetheless, of Joey Haynes, using all the extra grip that soft tyre's got available to him and able to capitalize. That's Absolutely fantastic pass. But Nick, tell us very quickly, how's your race going this evening? Obviously, we saw you had that incident. Tell us a little bit about it this evening.
It wasn't really too much. It was just an error on new tires and old tires. I usually start on the hards and try to end on the soft, but I decided to try and start on the soft, finish on the hard. Honestly, just trying to keep up with Joey and try to keep a good spot after all the pits. I ended up catching a bit too much curb going through the S's, and it just sent the car sideways. Couldn't recover.
Well, it's definitely understandable. We've seen a couple of guys get caught out just as you go over one of the dips. I know that Reese will know 100% which corner it is, but just very quickly, it was good to catch up with you, Nick, and we're going to wish you good luck for the next race, but we'll catch up with you very shortly. Thank you for dropping in.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nick Horvath there, but right now it looks like Andrew Hardman has got that gap down on Ozzy Mulwayne even closer, now under a second, and it's going to be interesting to see as well. Actually, let's have a quick look at the push to pass. So Hardman has currently got, if I'm not mistaken, 7 push to pass remaining. He is in a very strong position against Ozzy Mulwayne. I mean, he still has 5, but Jonathan Wager has just 1 left at this point.
Yeah, Wager has traditionally been quite aggressive on push to pass when he hasn't been leading in this series. So he's got probably a bit of a disadvantage here at the end. But you see that the gap is coming down massively as Mulwayne responds and uses push to pass himself. Easy does it for Andrew Hardman. That is the view. And he'll be getting a bit of aero disturbance at this point, and he'll be hoping that the soft tyres have enough grip to pull him through. We're about to get onto the second last lap here, with 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining on the clock. They should be able to get 2 more laps from this point, but you see how much the gap comes down every single time they turn in for a corner. Mulwayne has to be a bit more careful. There's not as much grip at hand for him, and the push to pass is on again for both of them.
Well, these guys are definitely bringing it down to the final countdown. I'm thinking I can make the director groan if I keep making musical puns, but under 4/10 of a second left at this point, and Mulwayne very, very intentional about where he positions that car. That number 14 evolves him sports machine, and it's fair to say that Hardman is definitely keeping the pressure on. As you see, a little bit of a lockup there from Mulwayne. A little bit of smoke as he's there. He's on the push to pass again. Just 2 of them remaining in the bag. Hardman has 5. The closest battle on track right now.
Yeah, this is really intense here, and it's going to come down to a last lap battle. Hoping for a photo finish here at Barber Motorsports Park. Soft tyre starter, Ozzy Mulwayne. He built up the gap, and it's worked out very well for him, but lapped traffic might be a factor. We got Tori Pushman there, being one of them. Takeshi Kita just ahead of her there. That's 6th and 7th, the battle between those two. So this will be interesting for sure.
It definitely could get interesting. Mark McDonald very quick to dive out of the way, and actually I think that's Tori Pushman's car, if I'm not mistaken.
It is Tori Pushman, yes.
Okay, there we go, Tori Pushman. Takeshi Kita.
Here we go.
Oh, yep, Tori's like, nope, gets out of the way of that. As you can see here, Hardman and Mulwayne almost side by side. Huge lock up there from Hardman, and it was kind of like trying to do a 100-meter sprint while walking on them little, when you play marbles, you got them little peg-looking things. I don't know what they're called. That's what it felt like.
It looks like that's cancelled the last lap battle there. There was a big move there from Andrew Hardman, but Ozzy Mulwayne managing to get the defence on, both of them locking up, and he's going to come across the line to win.
Well, definitely a lucky scenario there for Mulwayne as he takes the checkered flag. Mulwayne in first, Hardman in second, and then Jonathan Wager, he's looking pretty steady there in third. Joey Haynes not quite able to get onto that third podium spot. He's about 1.6 seconds back. Broomhead a little bit behind him. He's 6/10 back, and then we've got quite a big gap as well. But let's try and get quickly onto Marlon Jones and Assad Nakardambab because, too late, I was going to say. They got that gap down to about 1.4 seconds near the end, but What a fantastic race one. It was interesting as well to see the tactics, and actually a hard charger for that race. Tory Pushman, well done.
Yeah, Tory making her way up to 7th spot, and Marlon Jones here in the 25 managing to get 8th spot in the end. Fantastic job from all the drivers you see down in the bottom right corner there. I've got to say, that was a very exciting first race, and I'm looking forward to the second one.
I'm definitely looking forward to it as well. I think Tyler Scarelli is going to do very well starting on pole. We know this guy's got pace, and it'd be interesting to see what he can do with a clean track. Nikita Bev, I believe he will still have to start from pit lane. I don't think he can retain that position. So it'll be interesting to see there. I'm pretty sure that's the scenario as well. But we're going to go over your race result, race result and grid in just a moment for you.
Yeah, indeed. Well, in the end, Aussie Mill Wayne taking victory with Andrew Hardman trying so hard on the last lap to get that move done, just wasn't able to get his car in the right position. Wager finishing in 3rd spot, and that time that he lost starting on the hards probably not working to his favour. Haynes finishes in 4th with Broomhead rounding out the top 5. Takeshi Kita finishes 6th place, last car on the lead lap. Pushman, Jones, Nakadenbev and Scarelli are your top 10. Flip all of those drivers, and you have the top 10 for race 2. John Benwillid finished 2 laps down. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to Mark McDonald, Nick Horvath and Cedric O'Hayan with damage, thanks to no fast repair being available in the session. So now we move on to race 2, Zippy. This is going to be interesting. I have to wonder, what lessons have been learned by the drivers from race 1? Will we see a switch in strategy, the likes of, say, Jonathan Wager starting on the soft instead of the hard?
I got a feeling that if it was me, I would stick to the same strategy and think, okay, what did I do well and what could I have done better? Now, O'Hayan, he's going to be pretty straightforward. He went, okay, I cheesed it a little bit too hard. At the start, the tyres weren't up to temperature, but that corner actually caught out a couple of drivers. We've seen himself, we've seen, I think, Mark McDonald, and I think that was where there was one more. I think that's where Marlon as well got caught out. I think it was all potentially the same corner. So definitely, you know, you've worked out, like, okay, this is quite a light spot. It's kind of like as you go over the hill at Road Atlanta, you've got to be very, very gently over the hill. If you go in too tight, if you go in, take too much curb, you get a slowdown. I think knowing the track limits is probably going to be the biggest lesson learned. And if it was me, I'd be thinking, okay, where can I improve on that rather than worrying about strategy at this point? So strategy is excellent, but it will only help if you can keep the car on the track.
Yeah, exactly. We saw that quite a few times in race 1, didn't we? The fact is, this track is very old school in nature. And on the exits of the fastest turns, you don't actually have that much room for error because the curbs are very narrow. You can only fit like a tire on them, if that, before you catch the grass and potentially spin. These cars have V6 turbo engines producing a ridiculous amount of horsepower. The cars are very light as well. So the drivers need to be careful on the exits of these corners.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and not only that, it's not like the kind of machine where you can just absolutely like slam on the power. As you're saying, while it has that nice big chunky set of meat on the back of it, you know, it does still take a little bit of time to warm up. And apparently the Acura LMDH has the same engine as these. Interesting. I know that's a piece of information from our director there. Yeah, we'll get him an anorak for Christmas, maybe. But
I think the LMDH drivers will be very grateful that car has traction control. These Indy cars have none of that.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. No power steering apparently as well. Again,
yeah.
We're going to have to get him. And some people would say he needs an anorak. Other people would say he's enthusiastic. We're going to say he's enthusiastic and then mail him the anorak at this point.
Enthusianorak.
Yeah, new term here made by Reese Gardner here at BiS. But I don't know if we're quite ready for the grid. But I think for me, my driver to watch, I think Mark McDonald, you know, again, I expected more from him last round, but he had that little mistake. As I look through the grid, though, my Broomhead did quite well as well. But I think my money, I think Milwayne, I think he's going to do well. But I think the one I'm going to cheer for this race is going to be Mr. Joey Haynes.
Yeah, Joey Haynes certainly had an opportunity to make up time in race one, but for various reasons, just wasn't able to stop Jonathan Wager once he got on the softs. So I'm not sure who I would pick. I would say that Mill Wayne has a really good chance, but looking through that top five, Andrew Hardman's pace at the end of race one was magnificent, and he's going to be starting ahead of Mill Wayne for race two. It'll all depend on what tyres he chooses to start on. Maybe he'll go for the same kind of strategy. If you're starting back in the field, just start on the hard tyres, take advantage of the length of time those tyres can last, and then switch to the softs at the end and maybe have a repeat of what we saw at the end of race one.
Well, it's definitely going to be a fun battle. That's certainly one that I'm looking forward to. But it's definitely, we got some good action here at BIS. We got the IndyCar series, and certainly catch us in the fall because we're going to have even more action for you, including the BIS Radical Canada Cup. That's certainly something I'm looking forward to. But I think we're going to be getting ready for the grid in just a moment. I believe so.
Yeah, it's going to be a very flipped grid indeed. Thanks to the top 10 invert, Scarelli's going to be starting on pole alongside Nick Adambev. That's going to be an interesting start to keep an eye out for. That's your front row. Marlon Jones and Tori Pushman, third and fourth, with Takeshi Kita starting in fifth place alongside Britannia iSports' Michael Broomhead. In seventh and eighth, Joey Haynes and Jonathan Wager. Hardman and Milwain will start in 9th and 10th, and then Ben Walid, Mark McDonald, Nick Horvath, and Cedric O'Hayan are your grid. All 14 cars taking to the start once again, and the drivers here at the back will be hoping for a bit of better luck this time around.
Well, I do wonder as well. I think the Cardenberg will still be doing a pit lane start. Actually, as I say that, it looks like Tori Pushman has not yet took the start as well. So I'm not sure why. Certainly Tori would be motivated to take the start. I'm not sure. Not sure what's happening with that one there. Interesting. Okay, so just a little bit of a connection. There we go. Now she's lighting up for me. Perfect. All right, so Asana Carnaby will be taking the pit lane start again. So just a little bit of a coaching measure here we're doing at BIS. But I think Tyler Scarelli is going to really enjoy and not only be able to capitalize. You see there, he's gone for the soft tires, and that looks like, who's next in Leadpool Racing? That must be, okay, so Tori Pushman's moved up alongside and gone on the hard. So actually, as we take a quick look, let's have a quick look at this tyre strategy we got set out for this race while they're just out on the pace lap. It looks like Scarelli has gone on the softer tyres. It looks like, who's that behind them? Is that Marlon? Marlon Jones behind them? Help me out here, Reese.
Yep. It is Marlon Jones.
Okay, so quite a mixed field then. Mainly the soft has been the tyre choice, but it looks like I don't have a hard time reading these right now.
I mean, we're seeing a lot. We're seeing around about the same amount of drivers going for the hard tire compound, but I think it's interesting to note that Jonathan Wager is going to be starting on the softs this time, and Andrew Hardman will be starting on the softs as well. So they flipped their strategy from race one. That's very interesting to see. I think what they'll be looking for is just the opportunity to make their way past those drivers starting at the front. Remember, they're technically slower on pace, so should be easy to get by them on a conventional racetrack, but Barber Motorsports Park is very Monaco-like without walls. It's hard to make moves around here, so if you can get any advantage you can, you'll take it.
I got Spencar Director very quickly as well. I was having a hard time reading the abbreviated versions because, like in Formula One, you got like the last name is like the first three letters, the last name. We had it, so you had like the first digit of the first name, and then I was confused, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't take too much to confuse me. But again, we can confirm there, our director putting that up. Nikanabeb will be starting from the pit, so not quite what he had in mind, but that's okay. It's a learning experience, and it keeps him here and keeps him racing. So I do think it's going to be very interesting, especially to see how this works out. Pushman on the hards, I think she's going to get absolutely consumed by the field at the race start. I don't know if I would have done that, but again, these drivers, they can't see what the competition is going to be wearing, for lack of better words, until they hit the grid.
Well, we're about to take the start. Hot track again, 43 degrees Celsius or 109 Fahrenheit. So let's see how the drivers last here as the cars are released and we are away. Michael Broomhead already trying to get a move done on Tory Pushman, who goes side by side with Scarelli, and Pushman's off in turn one, gets on the brakes, has to take to the grass there to let everyone go. My goodness, that was a bit chaotic as everyone's just trying to sort themselves out here.
Well, definitely on the upside as well, it was a very clean incident, and I think the cold tyre was what was at play. Nikanenbev doing very well from that pit lane start. He's already clamped onto the back of that field right behind Cedric O'Hayan, but a lot of cars under pressure. See 2 wide, potentially even 3 wide for a very brief moment there. And as we keep an eye on the Jerry Haynes and Andrew Hardman scenario, it looks like Hardman's dropped too, and actually Nick Horvath is already up 5 positions, as is Jonathan Wager, really capitalizing on that start.
Yeah, fantastic start from the both of them. The top 5 all on the soft tyres. Oh my God, that's massive between Mark McDonald and Nick Horvath. Horvath, it looks like, has escaped too much damage there, but McDonald is out for sure.
Well, that's definitely not the night he was looking for. He full-on mounted Horvath at that point. I hope he's at least going to take him to dinner after that one. Not quite what he had in mind. And oh dear, that appears to be a side pod on Horvath's car that is kind of like just flapping in the breeze at this point. Oh, it's even wobbling. This is a new damage model from iRacing. We're seeing in effect as I see a pop smoke ahead.
It's Broomhead.
No, it's Takeshi Kita.
No. Takeshi, yeah, sorry, blue car, got confused. Kita losing his front wing. This has been a much more chaotic start here in race 2. Such a shame between Horvath and McDonald. Horvath just lost it by himself ahead of Mark, and he had nowhere to go. Not too sure what's happened to Kita here, but we'll get a few views of what's happened here on this first lap. Pushman just pushing wide, coming into the first corner, and she managed to keep it out of the wall. Hopefully hasn't damaged the floor any with riding the bumps like she did, but now back at the back of the field. This is what happened to Nick Horvath. Meanwhile, just coming through the high-speed flick, the rear end went, and then McDonald, I mean, he tried slowing down, but there was nowhere for him to go.
Well, speaking of McDonald, we've just managed to pull him in there. With Mark, we're just reviewing your incident. Can you tell us about it from your point of view?
Scary stuff if this wasn't a simulation. I've had a terrible evening, as everyone has seen. That's fine. I was underprepared, and I knew it was going to be a tough just managing with family and with the rest of life. So, that incident there, basically, headed into the whoop-de-whoops over there on the far side of the track, and Nick got a great run ahead of me and kind of lost it there, and for a second I was like, oh, he's got it, and then obviously I was kind of heading towards where I thought he wasn't going to be, and sure enough that's exactly where he was. So there wasn't much to be able to do about it. When there's a fast repair in this series, that's something that I could have, I don't know, driven to a 10th or something like that to recover from. But at this point, with my kind of evening, I'm calling it quits at this time and chatting with you guys.
I do apologize. The fast repair was certainly meant to be in at this race. A little bit of a slight miscommunication there when setting up the session. But watching the incident there with Horvath, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's anything you really could have done. It's one of those, it could have gone right. It could have gone a different way. And in all fairness, I wouldn't, certainly don't penalize yourself at all. You think, could I have done this better? It was one of those 50-50 moments, and it just didn't quite work out for you. But I am sorry. I actually picked you as my driver to watch for race 1, and had a little bit of an unfortunate incident, caught a couple of guys that corner. But Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure to chatting with you today, and we look forward to seeing you at the next round.
Yeah, guys, I appreciate it. I mean, I'll be more prepared for the next round for sure. And if for nothing else, you can just see how, in real life, the real life IndyCar drivers that are driving this, insane talent. I mean, to be able to avoid that, and insane trust, with everyone driving around, and a tiny mistake leads to big problems. So I appreciate that you're looking for me. I'll prepare better for the next one, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mark McDonald. Thank you very much for popping in. But we can see there, we just, you saw on the screen, we went over to Kishi Kita's replay as well. And we got a couple of battles going on right now. Let's focus on that because it looks like Assad Nakadanbev is under attack from Aussie Milwayne. Milwayne, obviously one of the very fast guys on the grid. Nakadanbev and Milwayne both rocking those hard tires as well. So definitely it's going to be a good, interesting battle. As I say that, Joey Haynes and Andrew Hardman are just 1/10 of a second between them right now. Even closer, less than a 10th of a second. Harmon alongside. He goes one way, then dips the other, trying to get by Joey Haynes. Haynes taking a little bit of curb there. I thought it was going to go a little bit too far, but Haynes able to hold off Harmon as it stands right now.
Yeah, but you can't help but think it's only a matter of time before the move is made for Hardman on the soft tyre. I mean, we're only 5 laps into this race, so there we go. See, that's the big advantage, more grip, and you're able to place the car a little bit better. It was interesting to note, looking at that replay for Takeshi Kita, it was turned, unfortunately, by Marlon Jones coming into turn 2, and Aussie Milwayne was right there as well. That's why you see Milwayne back in 8th behind Nakadanbev. So that's obviously not going too well for the drivers of Evolved Sim Sports. Now we'll see if Britannia's Andrew Hardman will be able to find his way past Mr. Haynes. Wager, Broomhead and Scarali absolutely checked out at the moment. The top 3 all on the soft tyres and just trying to manage their pace at the moment.
Well, we'll see very shortly. We'll get a replay of that because it looks like Aussie Milwayne managed to make it past Nakadanbev, but was more focused on the battle between Joey Haynes and Andrew Hardman. Certainly a battle that is not going to be over very quickly. Is Marlon Jones and Tory Pushman? I think, yeah, Marlon Jones has just passed Pushman as well. A little bit of an off track, maybe a little bit more of an instant. I see there's a red warning there on Tory Pushman, but action happening all over the field right now. But the biggest one right now, it is Haynes versus Hardman, Evolve versus Britannia iSports, as this battle is not yet over. But if Haynes can hold on, if he can if he can force Hardman to burn off those soft tires, then he may be in for a chance at having that result at the end of the race.
Yeah, that's basically the advantage that he has. You know, it's if you're going for a hard tire start, you're playing the long game. You're hoping that if there's a driver behind you on the softs, they'll burn out, and then they'll have to switch to the hards later on. But round the outside, he tries, does Andrew Hardman, but Haynes is putting on a great defense at the moment. Having said that, Hardman now has the inside for Charlotte's Web. They're going to have to give each other a bit of room down here, and the position is yielded by Joey Haynes. He's going to let Hardman go there, but I think all of that time spent behind is going to result in Hardman having to pit for the hard tyres a bit earlier than he expected.
Well, it's definitely an interesting tactic as well. You know, it's not just about trying to hold on to the position, but seeing how hard you can make the guy behind you work, potentially damage his tyres there. As we're going to catch a quick replay very shortly where Milwayne managed to sneak by. Actually, this is what happened to Tory Pushman. We know that they had an incident earlier coming in. Oh, pretty hot there, locked up and taking a slight detour there through the gravel trap, and that's okay. You know what? These things happen. Certainly, Tory was saying that he was struggling for pace a little bit here at Barber, and to be fair to you, it's a very demanding track in a very demanding car. Like, I've got no doubt you're even quicker around here than I would be.
Yeah, very demanding track indeed. Well, Pushman will try our best to get to the end from here, all alone on the circuit at the moment, as we see how Milwayne got past Assad, and this was the very end of the lap where it was set up. Oh yeah, and no wonder Assad a little bit too aggressive on the power coming out of the last turn, and Milwayne was just a formality really, getting past into turn 1.
It definitely had a nice little wiggle to it, but as I say that, you know, the field has spread out a little bit now, so Milwayne's already 2.5 seconds up the road from Nakadanbev, so definitely getting some moves on there. Actually, with something we haven't really talked about too much today is the fastest lap, and currently right now in this race is held by Jonathan Wager. That is your pole position vehicle, and he's also the hard charger as well, up in first place and gained 7 positions from the start.
Yep, he tried starting on the hards in race 1 and it didn't work for him. Now he's just focusing on building a gap on the soft tyres. So Yeah, with the fact that Haynes and Milwane haven't been able to advance through the field like they wanted to, largely due to starting on the hards, I think the advantage has fallen into Jonathan Wage's lap. All he has to do is manage the race, and that'll obviously be the way things go towards the end. Under 20 minutes to go, 17 laps remaining on the scheduled lap count, and I think that Wage is going to be staying on these softs for a few laps longer at least.
Well, what is interesting as well, as I have a look at the push to pass numbers right now, there is one particular driver in the field who has been very, very keen to smash that button, and not surprisingly, it's the number 3 car of Andrew Hardman, who currently has 3 push to pass remaining. Some cars in the field, Tyler Broomhead, I do apologize. Michael Broomhead and Tyler Scarelli, they both are yet to hit the magic button. Jonathan Wager as well, he's still got 9 left in the bag, as we see there. Nick Horvath, he's used quite a few as well, but some of the drivers choosing to save the magic go-go juice until the end of the closing sectors of the race.
Yeah, Broomhead and Scarelli haven't used any of them yet, and well, they remain in second and third. They are saving it up for the post-pit stop battles that will inevitably ensue.
Well, definitely, that is, again, another way to pass a car, is if you can't do it on the asphalt, then try and beat them in the pits. And, you know, sometimes that's just the way it goes. I've certainly done that in endurance races myself, you know, where, okay, I can't get past this guy, and if they're anything like me, they're a very defensive driver, so you just modify your pit strategy accordingly and see if you can leapfrog them, or if not, separate yourself from them on the track, as we hear watching Cedric go high end with a little bit of a spin there on the soft compound tyres. So it's fair to say he's going to have a little bit of extra heat at the back of that car.
Yeah, and that's heat that you can't deal with on the soft tyres. They're very quick to overheat, and they'll obviously wear a lot faster too. So any mistake that you make on those tyres is just going to be amplified compared to what it would be on the hard compound, especially considering how warm the track still is. Well, Cedric will remain in 10th for the time being. There's no real close battles going on track at the moment. Everyone's just fallen into a rhythm here, but we still have a lot to expect once we get the pit cycle going. Ben Walid is being caught by Milwane. Andrew Hardman still fighting away here in third place, and he actually was the fastest car on track last time around. Yeah, Scarelli looks like running about 0.4 of a second slower on the last lap, and you see that he is within Hardman's sights, so we might be seeing a pass very soon between them, to say nothing of Ben Walid and Milwane, who are hovering about a second between them.
Well, you say that. One thing that Tyler Scarelli has been keeping in the bag is his push to pass. Hardman only has 3 of them, so Scarelli could potentially basically wear him down, and they are both on the soft compound tyres as well. So realistically, if they're going to make this pass and make it stick, he's going to have to do it all on pure racing talent. There's going to be no advantages, no extra go-go gadgets, no cat in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be pure, raw driving experience.
Yeah, that's it. And being able to make the tyres last is a big part of that. Speaking of hard tyres, Milwane catching up here to John Benwalid on the softs, and that's a much better run through Charlotte's Web for Aussie. He's got to be careful not to take too much of the curb there. He's on push to pass. He wants to try and make the move here. We don't usually see passes here, and that's why it's so difficult. But the cutback from Aussie Milwane, that was beautiful.
Oh, definitely. Oh, I don't think Benville's given up on it yet. A little bit of a lock-up there. Milwane with a definitely, he is twerking the back end of that car. And I got to say, that was, for lack of better words, a huge set of plums from Benville for keeping with that. Most people would have just gone, no, I'll let this one go. But he stuck with it. So I got to say, best plums award today, it's got to go to John Benville.
Yeah, well, indeed. Benwalid, he tried his best to get the position back, but that double lock-up from the front tyres would certainly have made things an issue for him. And now those soft tyres will be crying out for mercy. We have 12 laps completed, and that's about the amount of time that the soft tyres really lasted. in the first race. We've got 15 minutes remaining. The race is pretty much halfway done. So now I think is the time to switch to those hards.
Well, I just seen another little lock up there as they went into that, that little section with the elevation change. You see the car get a bit light, and obviously it's very stiff as well. Benvelin, a little bit of a twitch there. He is really, really working that car. He wants a piece back of Milwaukee, but at this point, if I was him, I would probably dial it back a little bit. If you overdrive the car, as we've seen earlier this evening, it will punish you for that, There's only so much grip available to him, but as I see that as well, Andrew Hardman, he's down to 0.6 of a second behind the 15 car of Tyler Scarelli. Is he going to be able to get it done? Obviously, we know Hardman has had great success here in the IndyCar series. Scarelli as well, very decent driver. Been getting caught out in a couple of unfortunate incidents, but having a very good day today. Currently sat in that third position, and will be very keen to keep that away from Andrew Hardman.
Yeah, like we mentioned. Oh no! You cursed him, Zippy!
I almost said a British swear word then.
Oh, drat. Oh, fie. Tyler Scarelli has unfortunately lost it through Charlotte's Web, and, well, that's going to be the battle over for third place. Hardman with a massive advantage now. What on earth happened here? Just too much curb. He went too deep in the fast right and collected the grass a little bit. That unsettled the car. I mean, I keep talking about the curbs around here. It was that's basically what I said in action there. You need to be careful on the curbs around here.
Well, having a quick look at that, at that thing. It's going like a pogo stick then. Do you see that?
Yeah, the suspension oscillation that happens in Indy cars is often a problem here. They don't have a sophisticated suspension as other open wheel race cars, so if you hit those curbs in the wrong way, it'll just oscillate and go out of control.
It's almost like it needs a bit more shock absorber or something like that. But that was, what was it they was calling it in Formula One when they changed the regulations and they were betting ping pulled up and down? I can't remember. It wasn't buffeting or something like that. I know one of you guys is going to know it, but porpoising, that was it. Porpoising. That it looked like the car at that point was porpoising across the track. Maybe it was sponsored by Mercedes. They've just done that suspension. We've seen it on Fernando Alonso's SUV, where it's designed to get out of the sand, but instead everybody's just like rolling like completely pimp. So maybe Tory Pushman's driving the pimp edition IndyCar at this point, but I thought it was pretty cool to see that suspension in action.
Yeah, indeed, and yeah, it really speaks to how basic, and I don't mean that in a bad way, these cars are. They are pure racing cars. They don't have the sophisticated, multi-way, shock absorbers and what have you, extra dampers in other places in the suspension that more sophisticated cars have. They do have adjustable dampers and four-way, of course, so they are about as sophisticated as dampers can get, but the way the suspension is configured in these cars, you have to be careful over bumps and over curbs, because it'll be very easy for the car to pogo out of control.
Well, that is the interesting thing as well on the the theory of suspension and stuff like that. So some people, they just want, more advanced, more technology and stuff like that. But if it's a spec series, sometimes the more older stuff, the less tech can actually make for even better racing action. I mean, just look at something like a Formula V, for example. Definitely not a sophisticated vehicle, but some absolutely fantastic racing to watch. So, it's all sticks and stones. Don't get me wrong, if you're in like an arms race for, technology and it's competing against each other, then yeah, okay, you want all the goodies. But let's focus more on Andrew Hardman right now, because he is chasing Michael Broomhead. Actually, Michael Broomhead, and they huge slide there. Hardman, tank slapper going on. It's like he'd put McDonald's trays under the rear wheels and was just absolutely sliding that car. Mike Broomhead and Hardman on the softs. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sure exactly what compound Hardman's got in the back, but it's fair to say that gooey got a little ooey just then.
Oh yeah, wow, that was amazing. Great save from Andrew Hardman, but it's just one more incident where the soft tires will be falling off the wagon, and that's interesting to see. Broomhead coming into the pits there. He's aware that Hardman was catching up to him, but yeah, now Hardman will have to continue on an extra lap. It looks like Wager's come into the pits as well.
Well, Jonathan Wager's been having an absolutely fantastic race, and that's currently looked good for Hardman, as he appears to be 8 positions ahead, but again, he's not yet pit. Actually, speaking of pit, so Marlon Jones, so Nick Horvath, Marlon Jones, they pit on lap 16, Wager at 17, Broomhead at 17, so just really getting the pit window started off at this point, so it'll be interesting to see if anybody is able to do like an undercut scenario as the race goes on.
Yeah, let's see if that helps Broomhead any or Wager. They'll have to commit to the rest of the race on the hard tyres. The end of the hard tyre run, meanwhile, for Assad Nakatambev, but losing crucial time there, not getting lined up for the pit box in time. So we'll see how much longer he can hold on to this. Assad now completes his stop, 8.9 seconds in the box. Quickest pit stop we've seen so far has been from Tyler Scarali, who pitted a few laps ago. Hardman responding to Broomhead there, negotiating the very difficult pit entry here at Barber Motorsports Park. Now down to pit lane speed limit, and Joey Haynes will move through into the lead of the race, and that's where the advantage of the hard tyre is. You'll be able to go so much longer, but does he have the overall pace to gain anything in these last 8 laps or so?
But definitely it is not over yet. As you see, Joey Haynes is able to take that top spot right now. He's currently rocking the hard tire and not yet pit this session, but you know, he's in a good position, I'd say, right now. He's still got 9 push to pass in the bag as well, so definitely, you know, a strong position to be in during the closing stages. Is he going to be able to stay on that top spot? I don't know yet, but certainly it'd be good to see a podium out of my pick for race 2.
Yeah, certainly would. Well, Ben Walid and Hardman trading positions as well. Ben Walid back up into 6th place, and Hardman, of course, on fresh hard tyres, not quite up to temperature just yet, so had to make way for John in the number 11. That is the closest battle on track at the moment. Can they sort themselves out in the next couple of laps, and will Hardman be able to hold on with barely any push to pass remaining?
Yeah, he definitely cashed a lot of them in early, but I'm pretty sure Bembler's been smashing it pretty hard as well. Yeah, you know, he's still got 6 in the bag, so definitely, you know, and we've seen quite a lot of, you know, he's been very racy tonight, has John Bembler. You know, he's definitely not been interested in giving away positions, and I don't think Hardman is going to be any exception. He's going to be keen to get by and try and challenge for that podium yet again, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Bembler, you know, so as I look at it, so they're both on hard tyres. Bembler's got more push to pass, but we know that Hardman's got absolutely incredible form. So I don't know how he's going to do it. I think that he may indeed, once he's passed, pull away, but he still has to get past first.
Yeah, and I think by now the tyres will be up to temperature. There'll be a little more for him to play with there. We've got to remember that there's a 3-lap undercut that John Benwillid has on him, so his tyres are already up to temperature and, if anything, in their prime phase at the moment. Broomhead and Wager, meanwhile, both pitting for the hards. They pitted at the same time, and Broomhead has been using push to pass a little in the last few moments. Still has 1 in hand over Wager, and the gap is at about 3.5 seconds or so between the two of them. We'll see if Broomhead is able to gain any more as Wager uses another of his push to passes. Takeshi Kita was on push to pass there, making his way past Marlon Jones for 11th spot.
Well, it's definitely good to see Takeshi Kita back here as well at BiS. Good to have him here with us. And Hardman definitely keeping the pressure there on Bembler. He's going to be keen to try and get it done on that front straight. Is he going to be able to get it done? Oh, Hardman's gone wide. Able to keep the car in a straight line, but definitely more antics like that is good news for Bembler. You see they're on board with Hardman right now and basically going through the roller coaster that is Barber Motorsports Park. Not that many passing opportunities, but it looks like he's going to try and make one here. Sends it on the inside and spins it. Oh, dear. 360 spin.
That was a little too deep there for Andrew Hardman. You could see it. He was braking super late, and I thought, if anything, he was going to run in to Ben Willard there. So, yeah, he unfortunately got on the power a bit too hard. Oh, Jonathan Wager's just lost the lead. What's happened to Jonathan Wager? There's been a big problem for him. He's crashed.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no. Oh, this is heartbreaking. So this is something we've seen a few times before. The grass, and then the snap, and then head-on into the barrier. Oh, wow. He was driving such a good race, was Jonathan Wager, and it's all come to nothing.
It looks like, really, as they go over that curb, it just, if the car pushes out too much, the weight is so upset. And, you're just along for the ride at that point. And at this point, the face of that car is making me feel more attractive. Like, that thing is pooched.
Yeah. Looks like Cedric O'Hyan also having an issue there, spinning out of Charlotte's Web, but keeping it out of the barrier crucially. That's something that Jonathan Wager would have hoped he'd have been able to do, but unfortunately the 47, who was looking set to win this race, is now out.
Well, this gives us an interesting scenario right now, because by some miraculous miracle, Michael Ballerina Broomhead is currently your race leader.
Yeah, and it's a position we haven't often seen Broomhead in. Like, he's been consistently competing for top fives and all that when he's had the time to prepare properly for a race. But I don't think I've seen him in the lead of a race this season, at least in the races that I've been present for. So this is a great opportunity for him.
I'm so confused right now. Like, what happened here? But it's okay. Joey Haynes is about 2 seconds. He was 2.5 seconds. He's about 2 seconds behind him at this point. Actually, he caught up a lot that last lap. So Mike Broomhead did a 110.9. Joey Haynes absolutely smashing him there. One of the fastest guys on the track right now, the 108.4. Haynes is absolutely on it, like just pushing and pushing. So, he's really going to have to get that work done. If he wants that position from Broomhead, he's going to have to pull a miracle out, because while he has the soft tyres on the 52 car of Joey Haynes, you still need to have the time and have the real estate to get that position taken and get in front before the checkered flag.
Yeah, indeed. Only 3 laps to go here at Barber Motorsports Park, and Joey Haynes taking another second out of Broomhead on that lap, 108.5. That's only a 10th off his best lap overall. So I think, it would be nice to look at the sectors in the lap, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Joey Haynes is on the soft tyre, Broomhead is on the hard. So that's basically why the gap is closing like it is.
Well, definitely the tyre is a huge part of it. They always say if you're going to spend money modifying a car, you don't want to put a big stupid, well, actually no, you do want to put a big stupid turbocharger on it, because it makes you feel good and makes all sorts of whoosh whoosh noises. But generally the best bang for buck is tires, and it comes the same down to the racing as well. The best way you can make a car go faster is putting on a softer compounder tire. Don't get me wrong, the softer it is, the less life you will have in it, but it'll be a lot more fun. It's a case of, do you want to have a fun, adrenaline-filled life and live till you maybe 35, or do you want to have like a very dull, boring, not too much happens and live till you're 150? Weighing up the pros and cons, and that softer tire, that's more of a 35.
Yeah, definitely is. But Haynes has been driving very well at the moment, and I believe still has a few push-to-passes in hand here. Can he catch Broomhead in the last 1.5 laps? Well, 3 push-to-passes remain for Joey Haynes after using that one. Broomhead still has 4 in hand, so I think if Michael drives well, he'll be able to defend this. But we know how aggressive Haynes is. We know how used he is to having success in BIS. This is going to be a great battle to the end.
Well, the ballerina is going to have to pull out some fantastic moves to keep Haynes behind him. Definitely, we know, as you were saying, we've seen the talent, but another thing to keep in mind as well, Evolve Simsports second and third on the grid right now, so definitely a good team haul for them. Jonathan Wager dropped back to 13th. It's fair to say he's out of the race after that incident, so Broomhead really carrying the torch for Britannia iSports in the closing stage of this race, trying to get some good points for the team.
Well, last lap begins, Zippy. The battle is on now, and you see how hard Haynes is pushing on exit there. Was another 4/10 faster than Broomhead on the last lap, and he's making up a lot of that time in the braking zones here. How does the exit of turn 5 go? Gentle now, and they are pretty equal on the exit. This is going to be a fun fight if they can both keep it pinned through Charlotte's Web.
Well, definitely, you know, the pressure is intense. I've seen a little bit of a lock-up there. I think that was from Broomhead very briefly, but, you know, he's just got to try and hold on. It looks like Andrew Hardman's caught back up to John Benvelit as well. He's going to be keen to get by. So Lima Racing as well is now challenging her. Well, he's being challenged by Andrew Hardman, just 5/10 of a second in it, but we're going to stay with the battle right now between Broomhead and Haynes, as it is the final lap, and it could come down to even the final corner at this point.
Well, out of the final corner they come, and it's not enough. Broomhead is going to take victory in race 2. Beautiful drive.
Well, we're going to very quickly get on board with check out Andrew Hardman as well. Sorry there, Mr. Broomhead, but we want to see what happens here with these. Hardman going very wide there, using everything he's got. Benvelit there as well, but Benvelit able to hold on by about 2/10 of a second. Well held in that. Obviously, Hardman having that spin earlier is what realistically cost him that 5th position. As you see here, Takeshi Kita as well. He's getting ready to... well, he's not quite crossing the line there. Okay, we're back to Broomhead. There you go, back to Broomhead. Your race winner. And what a fantastic drive. It kind of caught us unawares with that one a little bit. 5 positions gained. Aussie Will Wayne, the hard charger in that race, was 7, but a pleasant surprise there from the 00 car.
Yeah, very pleasant surprise for Michael Broomhead. Started on the softs. He was, in the top 5. Was able to take advantage early on, and she should be very happy with this victory. A great haul of championship points from this round for Broomhead, and the last road course round of the season too. We've only got the next round at Michigan to go.
Oh, it's definitely going to be a fun one as well. And it's been an absolute pleasure so far, the BiS Indycar Championship. It's our first season running the Indy cars. Obviously, we're more famous for doing the radicals, but hopefully we're going to be able to catch up with some of the people here very shortly and get some interviews. I know Michael Broomhead we can usually get, Joey Haynes, Aussie Mulwayne. I'm not sure we've actually managed to grab... Not sure we've managed to grab Aussie for an interview before, but I am going to drop him a quick hint right now. He's already left. Damn it. We're going to take a quick commercial break as well. My apologies. I was trying to multitask. Not well, obviously, but we'll see you very shortly in just a few short minutes.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And it's been a good evening this evening. Here at Barber Motorsports Park out in Alabama, but we're going to go over your results here in just a second. Here you go, race 2. So in first place, the 00 car of Michael Broomhead from Britannia iSports. Joey Haynes just 0.3 of a second behind him with the 52. Ozzy Mulwayne for Evolve Sim Sports as well. He was your third place finisher, with Tyler Scarelli in 4th. John Beverley doing an absolutely fantastic battle against Andrew Hardman in 5th and 6th. Asad Nakadabev making his way back up to 7th. Nick Horvath in 8th. Cedric O'Hine in 9th. And Takeshi Kida in 10th. As we have a look now at 11th was Marlon Jones. Tori Pushman in 12th. Jonathan Wager definitely having that unfortunate rearrangement of the parts in that IndyCar in 13th, with Mark McDonald, who we caught up very briefly earlier, in 14th. But what an absolutely fantastic race. But let's get we're gonna get Holdfink first. We're gonna grab Ozzy Milway. Now, Ozzy, you are third place finisher in race 2. Tell us a little bit about how your evening went.
Oh, the first race went a lot better for me, of course. But yeah, the second race we decided to go on the hards. I don't know why we did, but I think it would have worked out in the end, with Wager and Hardman crashing. And then I actually got taken out in corner 2. I got caught up in a crash there, but it was a good rebound. And yeah, I was happy with the third and the second race.
Well, it definitely is quite a demanding circuit. We saw the elevation change catching a few of the drivers there. The car would get quite light. Now, what would be like your best piece of advice in terms of driving this track?
Just practice. It's muscle memory. Yeah, that's about it. Just laps. And then yeah, you use the markers on where you're braking, where you're turning, and a lot of the corners are blind. So yeah, it's just all practice.
But definitely having a blind corner does add a extra set of challenges to it. Certainly, if I think, again, sorry, I keep coming back to this, but Road Atlanta, as you go over that chicane, one of the scariest circuits, one of the scariest corners on that circuit. And Barber Motorsport, again, another track that has a lot of that. I think Aragorn, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's a very kind of similar deal as well. But Ozzy, is there anybody you'd like to thank for your performance today?
Yeah, just my teammate Joey. We got some good points tonight. I don't know where that's going to put us in the standings, but yeah, good points for the team, and my dad Rob for watching.
Well, that is absolutely fantastic to see you here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ozzy Milwayne. Oh, I do understand that Reese has been able to catch up with Joey Haynes as well.
Indeed, yeah. Speaking of Joey, here he is, 4th and a 2nd today here at Barber, Joey, and you must be happy with that result.
It's not too bad. I mean, a lot of second places this year. Try to break that, Hopefully Michigan holds better things for me.
Yeah, indeed. It was tough going, especially considering tire strategy. I believe Zippy asked Ozzy about the way you guys decided to go for the tire strategy, starting on the softs in race 1, starting on the hards in race 2. Which do you think was the better decision to make?
I think the hards in race 2 made more sense to start on. You kind of just got into a good rhythm after a while. It was a little tricky for the first few laps when everyone's got the reds all fired up and they're fresh. But once people start to get into their groove, I found I was able to kind of find a good spot for myself and just put in good consistent laps. I started to claw back some of the time towards the end of the run, and then once you put on the reds at the end, you're flying compared to everyone else, so you start to make up time pretty quick. But passing is tricky at Barber. That's the biggest thing.
Do you think the passing will be any easier at the Super Speedway of Michigan at the final round?
I think it'll be easier, yeah. It's just going to be more about, timing your runs, making sure you're in the right place at the right time, not using up too much of your tires too early in a run, and just working with your teammates, and hopefully we can get the whole Evolve crew back out for the next one to make sure we've got 4 green cars in the top 5 again.
All right, excellent stuff, Joey. Well, is there anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I mean, Ozzy, Spencer, Bryson, all the guys. I know a couple of them aren't here today, but they've been great throughout the whole championship. Everyone at Evolve, our sponsors, Tranco, Joe's Pokestop, TNT Racing, Mike, for putting on a great league. This has been a lot of fun this summer. We've been really enjoying it, and we're looking forward to the Radical Cup come the fall. And of course, Pit Road Productions for putting on a great broadcast as always.
Fantastic stuff. Joey Haynes there in the number 52. And I believe, Zippy, now it's time to chat to the winner of the second race here, Michael Broomhead, 5th and a 1st tonight.
Well, it's definitely interesting to see the 00 on the top spot. A little bit of a confusing scenario, but Mike, tell us, how on earth did you accomplish that? You stunned the world and taken it by storm.
Mostly because John got a little bit of a tank slapper and handed that over to me there. But in terms of keeping the car on track and holding on to that position, Joey had so much pace. It was kind of a bit tricky, to be honest.
Yeah, he definitely had you working hard, but I am seeing an absolutely fantastic comment from our director here. First time Mike has a position description and not a league director description. What a roast. I mean, I can't cook, but that guy could roast. Well played, sir. But Mike, I guess tell us a little bit, what was you doing in terms of training for this event? And, in terms of not only that, but what about tire strategy as well? Let's get your take on it.
Yeah, training, just mental laps, or just doing that while I'm supposed to be sleeping, probably. Honestly, not a lot. A lot of laps around here previously, so just jump in and get a rhythm. But in terms of tire strategy, like the track was hot and it was getting a little cooler as time was going on, and we, as a team, went in the first race. We went the long route with the hard than the soft because we figured the car would be lighter at the end. It would probably be better for the tire, and the track would get colder as time went on. So we decided to do that, but then we all lost out to Evolve. So we switched it around, and I think they switched it around as well. So in the race 2, we got them back a little bit, but really it was kind of tricky because the hard tire would last a long time, and the soft was comfortably about 6 laps. But we pushed it to 17, just trying to keep the tire underneath us. So we did pretty well keeping that tire there. But I think it was close either way. But I think the soft and the hard was technically the better strategy.
Well, it definitely comes down as well. While you can test and practice, there's only so much you can figure out on race day as well. But Mike, ironically, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Everybody who comes out to these races, everybody who shows up and puts in the effort, the people that week in, week out are interested in, and the people joining us, and everybody that makes this happen, really, because without you, without the drivers, without the sponsors, none of this is anything. This is just something that I, dreamed about doing as a kid. Like, oh man, I could run some leagues when I'm older, some championships. So, it's nothing without everybody else. So thanks to everybody.
Well, I gotta say, definitely great to see you up on the podium. The ballerina putting in a Olympic level performance this evening at Barber Motorsports Park. But Mike, actually before we boot you out the broadcast booth, is there anything you want to tell us about the next round coming, the finale, I think it is?
Yeah. So we're on the high banks of Michigan. Nobody can drop this round coming up. It's going to be a full hour race, so it's going to be pretty tight. A lot of draft battles. Hopefully, it's a little bit more spread out than some of the other oval races we've done. But hopefully, everybody can come out. And yes, we'll take some new people as well. Just join our Discord, and we'll get you in there. But yeah, it's coming down to the wire. We'll see what the championship points are like, and we'll go from there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mike, the ballerina Broomhead, your league founder, organizer, and also for race 2, the podium winner. But we are going to catch up with one more person this evening. We've got Marlon Jones in here. I understand Reese is a little bit more informed on this discussion than I will be.
Yeah, congratulations on taking part here tonight, Marlon. The results were, 8th and 11th, and you had a couple of dramas along the way, but still a great showing for that fantastic livery.
Oh, thank you. I'm just happy to finish, honestly. Like with this being my home track, I'm just glad to come out here and just have some fun, even with the less than stellar performance. As long as I finish, have fun, and just constantly improve, that's always what matters to me, no matter the race.
Yeah, it's a great attitude to take, and certainly we gave some airtime to the special livery that you're running for this race, supporting the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America. You have sickle cell yourself, and doing a bit of research on the disease. It sounds pretty rough. Can you explain to the viewers exactly what that entails?
Yeah, it is pretty rough. Even funny thing is, race 2, I started having some pains from it, which is a little crazy. But essentially, what'll happen is that some of my blood cells are not like round; they're sickle shaped. So sometimes they'll end up just clumping together in my in my joints or muscles and just cause a bunch of pain. My immune system isn't the best, and it's not it for me. It's not life threatening. For a lot of people, it can be. And that's really why all year long, with not just this car but every car that I race, I have the sickle cell logo on my car. But with this one being my home track, I wanted to specifically run their logo and the website as well on there, just to raise a little bit of awareness. And I know some of my family was watching. And funny thing is, I think my doctor was actually watching this too, because he texted me. So I think they were starting that they were watching too. But
That's
yeah, it is
fantastic.
rough. But like, I don't let it impact me all the time, especially with racing, since that's my main way of I guess coping with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic that you're raising awareness of this. Of course, Zippy and I weren't quite aware of sickle cell until we saw your car, and I did a little search and looked it up, and yeah, I think it's great that you're running SCDAA logos on your car and running this special livery for this round at Barber. Definitely doing your part to raise awareness of that. But before we let you go, is there anyone else that you'd like to thank for your performances tonight?
Yeah, so I'd like to thank everyone over at the SCDAA for letting me run their logos. I had a meeting with them back in 2023 to ask for permission, and they allowed that. So thanks to everyone there to allow me to do this. Thanks to everybody over at Leopard Racing for all of them supporting me and just giving me the love that that keeps me pushing with this. Thanks to all of my family and friends and loved ones who were watching today, and who were few of them from, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get an earful from in the next like 10 minutes on the phone. And I thank everyone here for putting on such a amazing and fun league, and I thank y'all for having me on tonight.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Marlon. Really appreciate you coming on board to have a chat, and consider us educated now.
Thank you.
Well, Marlon Jones there, running the sickle cell livery on his car. That's really fantastic, Daniel. It really is. I always love seeing drivers use sim racing to raise awareness of diseases and conditions that most of the world might not know about.
Like 100% agree with you on that. Like, and it's not necessarily just like, the diseases that people don't know about, but, trying to take sim racing or racing in general and do some greater good with it. I always found that was a beautiful thing. Like myself, 4 years in a row, I did like a fundraiser for Cancer Research Institute, and like, it's not that I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I really want to, do something every year. It's more sort of, it came around from sim racing. There's a guy in the league I ran in who had cancer. I noticed he hadn't been around, and then I found out. So I said, all right, let's do a fundraiser for him. And we did. And then, what? Next year came around. I'm like, okay, I'll do it again. So, what? Like, I'd say my hat's off, but I've not got one on today. But Marlon Jones, for you, next week, I will put on a hat. Well, next race even, I'll put on a hat and we'll take it off for you in, just to cheer you on, celebrate the fact that you're trying to make some good in the world. And that's something that I will always get behind, like 100%. And definitely a bit of an education, well, for both, as Reese was saying, for Reese and myself. And I don't know if Christian, you understood what sickle cell is, but medically, I'm definitely, you'd be grateful I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, like I said, it's fantastic to see that level of support. You know, especially from the SCDAA, giving him permission to run those logos. Big shout out to them. Yeah, I'm just happy to see that sim racing is used for good.
100%, and then not only that, to actually get the logo permission as well. Like I tried to do a fundraiser before, and some places they just don't want to work with you. So the fact that he achieved that is fantastic. But I've got to say, what an education. But you know, I don't really know what to say with that. I'm just like, you know, I'm just so cheering for the guy, right? But I guess we should probably talk about our sponsors as well. Probably should.
Indeed, of course. We do have Rogue Energy on board. Big thanks for their support. You can save 10% on Rogue Energy products by using the coupon code BIS10 at checkout. And you can scan the QR code on your screen for a little bit more information on that. Really appreciate Rogue Energy coming on board to sponsor the BiS Indycar Series. And if you want to be a part of the action yourself, you just need to scan to join the Discord. We're always looking for new people here at BiS. The IndyCar Series grid can be filled for the final round at Michigan, and that driver could be you. So if you like what you see, you're interested in having a run, make sure to grab your phone and scan that QR code.
You notice when he said that we got action of the cars, not of us, right? That's not by accident by any means. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure here having you tonight. We're going to be at Michigan for the next race. It's going to be one of the oval circuits and definitely going to be a lot of fun. But, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure, you know, to be able to call the racing here for Barber Motorsports Park, BiS Indycar Championship, and live here on Pit Road Productions. But my name has been Daniel Zippy Salmon. We've had Reese Gardner joining me in the booth on commentary, and Christian Hill working behind the scenes. But we are going to leave you to it for now and catch you next time here live on Pit Road Productions.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.